morning, everyone. I've started with my coffee this morning, but I'll put this aside and I'm going to show you how we make apple pastries. This is something your children have done all the time or very, very, very often at school. What you need is puff pastry. Any puff pastry you'll come across, just let it defrost. You buy it frozen, let it defrost overnight. I've got a little bit of flour, chopped apples, raisins, and cinnamon. If you have a round cookie cutter, that's ideal. Or this is the lid of a spice bottle actually, or you could even use the inside of a sellotape, and that will help you further down the line. Okay, so we need to unroll our puff pastry. And what's a good idea at home is just to prepare this in advance for your child. So what I would do is I would cut one strip into 3, and I would place it on the side on a plate or on a separate cutting board. So you have your squares prepared. And you can actually keep these in the fridge in a Tupperware with some clean wrap in between. And then your child can actually take this out whenever they feel like doing it and have your ingredients like I have here prepared in a Tupperware so that they can help themselves whenever they feel the urge to bake. So they'll first need to sprinkle flour on their work surface, take their square of puff pastry, and this is a great activity for using their fingers. They're just going to press, and we want them to use their fingers. We don't want rolling pin. We want to use all our fingertips. And we want to use both hands. You will often find the toddler just using one hand. But we want to encourage them always to use both hands. And you'll often see they won't press. They'll just lightly touch. We want them to use those fingertips, press down, make their square larger. And again, first time round, or you might need to do it 2-3 times alongside your toddler. And once they've got the idea, they'll get on with it on their own. I'm going to use my cookie cutter or whatever you've got to monitor the center of my puff pastry, and take my tongs if I have tongs. Otherwise your child has washed their hands. Use their fingertips to put the apple in the center. That just helps them to not cover the pastry entirely with apple. And then we'll put raisins in the center. There we go. And the cinnamon. I would advise you with the cinnamon to either have it in a little Tupperware container that they can use their fingers with. If you do have a jar, then just maybe cover the bottom of the lid with a bit of sellotape, so they're not pouring out the cinnamon. And then we're going to fold the corners to the center. So 1, 2 corners, 3 corners, 4 corners. Press a little bit and my puff pastry is done. And I can put it on my baking tray and I can start my next one. Okay, so the idea is at home, have a little Tupperware container of flour, a little one of chopped apples prepared, of your raisins, a little one container possibly of your cinnamon, and a container with your puff pastry squares with a lining of plastic in between, and have a cutting board, a smaller cutting board for your toddler in a cupboard that is accessible, and allow your toddler to access the ingredients and instruments that he needs for baking. And obviously you will need adult supervision with the oven, which is turned on at 180 degrees and bakes for maybe Enjoy your apple puff pastries.